that's been on the market for.
And I said, you know what? Just give me their phone number. Let me just call and catch up. Oh, that's why I'm calling.
Okay. My husband feels sick.
With Andrew. Hi, is this Renee?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Renee. My name is Pace. I'm partners with Andrew.
Good. How about yourself?
I'm awesome. He was trying to fill me in on what your conversation was, and I said, you know what? Just give me their phone number. Let me just call and catch up with them. So that's...
Okay. My husband feels sick right here, too.
Oh, perfect. That makes it easier.
Yeah.
So I'm awesome. So Andrew was telling you guys have your property listed for sale, but you haven't quite had enough luck yet. Is the agent doing like open houses or anything like that, or they haven't got it? I properties we buy from agents who are listing agreement, notion of selling the house. It's almost like they fall off the face of the earth. It's happening to you too. It happened. What happens if you guys don't sell your house in time for the other house? Is there like it's going to pump or anything like that? Do you need to sell this house you loan on the new?
Yes.
Got it. Okay, cool. There's a high likelihood it might be a good fit for you. An option for your back pocket. Okay.
All right.
The options we give you are two options, and I already know it's not going to work, but it's you heard what we are, and effectively means that we're looking for a good deal, right? Which is opposite for the highest price. Naturally, leading relationship on option number one, which is me, the cap, and paying off your and paying you. And I can already tell you that's not what you're aiming for because you are on the market. That tells me you're looking for the highest and best possible. Is that correct?
Right.
Got it. Okay, so that of us coming in with what most homeowners would a low ball cash offer, which leaves option number two. Option number two is the second way we buy properties, and this way that we save or help a lot of homeowners have a listing that's not selling, and they also have a home that they're either building or they are in the process of buying an existing home that's obviously not being built. Most of the time, sellers say, well, I need to sell my existing home in order to be qualified for my debt to income ratio for my new home. Is that what you were told by your lender?
No.
Why did they tell you you have to sell the other house in order to qualify for the other one?
Because we're using that as the down payment on the house.
Oh, makes sense. That totally makes sense. Okay, got it. So it has nothing to do with income level. It has to do with a chunk of money to be paid towards the down payment.
Correct. Yeah.
Got it. What do you guys need for the down payment on that? Is it like?
Well, the minimum is $100,000.
Got it. Okay, cool. So the minimum you want to do, because you guys want to keep your payment low on the second house, you're wanting to put $100,000 down so that you can have a lower payment. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, cool. So this is why I think option two might be helpful for you, but it's going to be something that when I tell you, you're going to be called buying on terms. That's TERMS, so buying on terms. Okay, and what that means is we essentially take over the payments on your house. We give you a down payment. We leave the mortgage we leave the existing mortgage in place, and we pay you the price that you're looking for. Okay, this is how I bought my personal house. This is how we buy a tremendous amount of our rental properties, where homeowners are saying, I need a certain price, I need a certain down payment, and I'm not getting it on the open market. So what we do is we come in, I'm going to say it one more time, and it's still not going to make sense a second time. We come in, we pay you a down payment, we keep the mortgage in place, and we home transaction, unless your agent is still going to be involved, and you guys get a payment that can help you buy the other home that you're looking to move into. This is the part where everybody goes, this is confusing, and then I wait for any questions so I can explain it further.
Yeah, the other thing we have is we're gonna have moving expenses that we had planned to use some of the money out the house to take care of those expenses as well.
Okay.
That's probably not gonna work for us.
Okay, well, this is why it's a good option to have as your backup. Okay, so let me walk you through it, and then we'll probably just have to touch base with you at some point if you're taken care of, and if you're not, we're always a good backup. Okay, so how much do you guys owe on your existing mortgage now?
Around 100,000.
And what's the price you're selling it for? $369. Is that right?
$369.
So you've got $219,000 in equity before real estate fees and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Got it. So after you pay real estate for the real estate agent, you probably have about $190,000 in equity. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, it's close. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So with $190,000 in equity, what somebody would do in a terms situation is they would pay you a down payment towards that $190,000, and then they would make you monthly payments towards the rest of that $190,000 for a certain period of time.
Would you repeat that? It's far away. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So you've got a mortgage in place for $150,000, right? Step one is we just take over that mortgage. Step two is you've got to, after real estate fees and all that kind of stuff, you've got about $190,000 in equity, and we don't need to argue at 191 or 197 right now. That's not really important. But let's just say it's $190,000. What we do is we pay you a down payment, we take over your property, and then whatever's left out of the $190,000, let's just say hypothetically we gave you $100,000. What would be left is $90,000, right? So what we would do is we would make a monthly payment towards that $90,000 and for a specified duration until it's paid down. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you a couple of things, okay, and then I'm just gonna plant a couple seeds, and we're gonna probably have to follow up at another point. If you're wanting to sell your house for top dollar and move to the new house, and in 20, 30 days you still don't have an offer, we can jump on a phone call again and re-explain all this. But essentially what you're going to be able to do is pay down so you can go buy another house and hopefully cover your moving expenses and all that kind of stuff. And then we will take over your existing mortgage.
What guarantees do we have of the permanency of taking over that payment?
The down payment I give you?
Yeah, but we would still have like $90,000.
Yeah, so let's say in a worst case scenario, I get, let's say, and I get abducted by aliens 6 months, 6 years, whatever it is down the road, and I'm nowhere to be found. You can't get a hold of me. My business is gone. I don't even exist on the planet anymore. What happens? What happens is you keep all the money I gave you as a down payment, and you get the house back that you can resell for full market value again, even keeping the down payment that I gave you.
I understand that, but I believe I would not want to take the risk of ending up with having 2 mortgage payments down the road. I had a bad experience with a similar situation that you just described.
Yeah.
With the company to work for, where another. I had been promised that they would assume financial responsibility for the home that I was vacating.
Yeah.
They only did that for 6 months. The house didn't sell. It ended up reversing. And then I ended up having 2 house payments for about a year.
Yeah.
And that put me in a real financial strain.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can tell you I'm different, and I can tell you I have a different strategy than what those guys do, but that really doesn't pertain to our conversation. I think the most important thing right now is that you guys stay with your real estate agent for the next 20, 30 days. If you don't get an offer, I think we revisit this conversation, and your concerns about what happened to you in the past, I can overcome those by telling you our strategy has nothing to do with what that person was doing, and I can go into the finite details of it. But that would be a waste of time right now. I think you just leave us as a good backup option, and we just set this for another conversation in 30 days and see if you guys get an offer in the next 30 days or not. What are your thoughts to that?
That's fine.
Perfect. So either myself or Andrew will follow up with you probably in the next, I don't know, I'd say 3 to 4 weeks. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Perfect. Do you guys have any questions for me before we just talk to you in about a month?
I don't have any other questions.
All right, guys. I appreciate your time. We'll talk to you in about a month. Good luck. I hope you guys do get an offer on that house.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Hello?
Hey, is this Ron?
Yes.
Hey, Ron. I'm partners with Mike Higgins. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. My name is Pace. I'm sorry I'm calling you a couple minutes later than he was planning on having me call. I've just been having a crazy morning.
Well, that works out to me.
Cool. So I get to be the one that determines which deals we spend our money on and all that kind of stuff. I'm kind of the pencil pusher. And he left me some, just why I wanted to get on the phone. And where did you guys leave it off?
Well, we were just talking about that you can make an offer straight up for cash, or the other way, which would be kind of I wasn't we didn't really talk about it.
Buy properties. Ways that a cash we under all the costs and innovation and all that stuff. Those type of prices don't always work for, and so that's why we have another properties which is on terms. Did you guys talk much about terms?
No, we didn't at all.
Cool. I know I know Mike usually tells a story about a car he used to own, about how he sold it on seller financing type of thing. Did you remember that story? He typically tells that story all the time.
No, I did not hear that.
Got it. Okay, cool. No problem. So the way that we buy on terms is we come up to the seller's price, and I think you've got a price you're looking for. Note in. He said something.
Yeah, that's what's listed on the taxes as far as the.
Got it. So you get $82,000 for what terms are. Let me ask you, if somebody gave you $82,000, is that something you're ready to move forward with, or are you still kind of just kicking tires?
Well, no, if I could sell to that, I probably would.
Got it. Okay, so if somebody came up to $82,000, what would be your timeline associated with selling the house?
I mean, as far as when the deal would get done, or how long it take to get paid?
As far as getting the deal done, for us, that's more of a question for me because I'm the one that manages all of our money and manages the flow of all the pipeline and the houses that we're buying. And so when I'm allocating money for a deal, it's nice for me. I know Mike cares more about price. I care more about timeline because I got to make sure it lines up with, money coming in the bank, money coming out of the bank. I'm the boring guy of the two of us. So timeline's super important for me.
Right. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, right now, he cold called me, so I'm just kind of listening to offers right now. It's not like I'm ready to jump on anything.
Got it. Okay, that's super helpful for me because we always have about 15 to 20 families that we're negotiating with that, they might need to make a move. They might need, like maybe the husband got a job opportunity. They need to move out of state. And so they've got a timeline associated with selling their property. And so I'm the guy that has to make the determination. I know Mike's out there just trying, I have to have another layer on there just to you. And then I have a 6 days. That husband might not be able to his job. Totally cool.
I'm not currently living there. I'm renting it out.
What's the term for a tenant? Are they there for another?
Month to month.
Awesome. The definition: we have seller name their price on a cash basis. Give you an offer. Offers for cash and value. Typically, when we talk to we're lower than that. Lower market value so that the can turn around and make some money. On a terms transaction, we come up to your asking you to seller finance, or we ask you to be the bank. Do you have in terms situation? Name your price, and let's work out a payment arrangement, and we'll.
So it'd be similar to land contract. Then?
It would be exactly a land contract.
Okay, that's what so it sounds like.
Yeah, most sellers understand what a land contract is, so I don't start by, I just say terms because it's a little easier to describe than if I say a land contract. That sounds very fluffy for most people. That's cool. There's three things to get up in the term. Most of the seller says, well, I want to name down payment, and then we talk about term. We typically will set it up with a 30-year term. You, Ron, will want a balloon or not. That's it. It's as simple as it gets. Thoughts on that? Right? You kind of set up the payment base so that we can afford the payments and make a little money, and then to have us cash him out 7 years. So there would be 20 all come into a lump sum payment on the 7th year, if that makes sense. Yeah. What are your thoughts on it? We set it up like as a 30-year deal and did something like that?
Yeah, well, I'd have to look at the numbers with you to make that.
Cool.
From my angle, that would make more sense. Of course,
Totally get that. So here's my suggestion. So you are the one that ultimately, in all my years of experience in this, you are the one that ultimately dictates terms. Anytime we set forth the terms, comes that's too low. I want this, and this. And so the thought process of like keeping efficiency at top of mind, I ask the seller, why don't you come up with the price you would be willing to do this at, and then the terms. Let us know what that looks like, if it's something that we can work out.
All right. I had a little research to do on my end. But yeah, we could do that.
When would you like your Mike to follow up with you?
Well, I need at least a week to get my head wrapped around it.
Got it. I'm going to tell Mike to call you. We've got a whole bunch of other people we're closing escrow with this end of this week. And
10 days.
Perfect. Let's do 10 days because we got a whole bunch of houses we're closing escrow on, and I got to make sure I focus. But I'll either have Mike call you or myself call you, and is this the bank of Ron? And you're going to say, yeah, this is the bank of Ron. I'll say, all right, Ron, or how much money am I putting down, and what's the length of the term? That's essentially what that call would be.
All right. Well, very good then.
Appreciate you.
All right. Thank you. Take care, Dave.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Isn't that amazing when a seller tells you that you and him had a conversation?
I love it.
So, I tell people all the time, buyers are liars, sellers are worse. When he told me that, I already knew you had already told him. There's no possible way he forgot. He's just really smart. The fact that he even knows what a land contract is. Did anybody get any value out of that one call? Was that helpful for you guys?
Yeah, you just set great expectations, man. Like what that call is going to look like. So when we call him,
Hey,
Right. I'm James.
oh, hey, James. So you guys are married, right?
Correct.
Perfect. So I'm kind of a lucky and somewhat unfortunate guy at the same time. I'm the guy that sits in front of a computer and makes decisions on where we place our capital. And so I kind of have a boring job, but sometimes I get to call the sellers and get caught up to speed and see if there's something we can work out. Do you guys mind catching me up with your conversation you had with Tim?
It was just, are you interested in selling? And it's like, yeah, kind of. And he said he'd work up a price and what they can do. That was about it.
Got it. Okay, so we buy properties in two different ways. We buy properties either with cash or we buy property on terms. Did he bring up terms to you at all?
Not really.
I think he was
He mentioned it, but
yeah, he was mentioning that I think he mentioned to you guys that we a lot of times will buy houses on seller financing. Do you guys know what that is? Cool. Would you guys be open to something like that? I'll tell you what the advantages are to seller finance, just real quick, so you guys can maybe think about it and we can have another conversation. The advantage to seller finance is that you get a much higher, a considerably higher purchase price for your property. Most of the investors that you're going to call are going to be lowballing you. I'm sure you guys have had investors call you and give you offers already, right?
oh yeah.
Yeah, and they're probably laughable numbers, right?
Yep.
Perfect. So look, I do that too. Primarily the exit strategy for those types of offers is a fix and flip, where you buy at a deep discount, gives you enough money to pull the tenant out, renovate the property, and then ultimately put it back on the market. After paying commissions and closing costs, you make a little bit of a spread. I think you guys understand how that game works, right?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Cool. So that's only one way we buy properties. The reason why I'm on the phone is because I'm the part of the partnership that talks primarily about the seller finance portion of our business. And what that means is that we buy it at almost what the sellers are asking, as long as the sellers give us terms in return. So let me give you an idea of what a lot of sellers why they do it this way. One, a lot of them don't want the tax implications all in one from selling all 5 or 6 or 7. We bought a package of 80 homes in Orlando a couple weeks ago, and the sellers absolutely did not want to pay this massive tax bill. And so seller finance helps you take care of that, pay a much lower tax rate. Number 2, you sell the property at a much higher number. And then number 3, depending on how we structure the deal, you can also make money on your high purchase price. And I think number 4, I personally think this is the most important. Number 4 benefit is that we upgrade you from being a landlord and we upgrade you to being the lender. So you don't have to deal with tenants and collecting payments and dealing with repair requests and all that kind of garbage. You just get to be the bank.
All right. What kind of interest rate do you guys pay?
So I'm going to tell you what I pay, but sometimes sellers get offended by this. So let me just tell you what I pay and why. A lot of times, let's say a seller comes to me and says, hey, I want to sell my property for $100,000. I go, no problem. I'll buy it for $100,000. How about this? I'll buy it for $100,000 at, the going interest rate, which right now is really low. Or I'll buy it for $120,000 if you give me 0% interest, so that I can just pre-build in the interest, so that I don't have to calculate payments and all that kind of stuff. We just keep it clean, clear, and precise. So The majority of my sellers go that route. They just name a higher purchase price and then they give me 0% interest. Essentially what we're doing is building the interest in ahead of time. So think about this. If the house is worth $100,000 and I pay 120 to you, but I decide I'm going to sell the house or I'm going to do something with it in a year, you essentially, if I have to refinance you out or I sell the property, you would get 120 and I would, there's no way for me to get out of that, right? So it's a huge benefit to you to basically pre-build all that interest in rather than, you seller finance it to me and then 18 months later I'm refinancing you out and you only made $3,000 in interest. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's a lot to think about. Obviously I do it all day long, so it's like putting on a pair of pants for me. But it's a.
Well, there's a lot of interest paid on a $200,000 house, even at current rates.
Yeah, over 30 years. Yeah, there's a lot.
More than 100 to 120,000. It's just a lot more interest than $20,000.
Yeah, if I kept the property for 30 years, which is not really our strategy. Most of the time, sellers will want a 5 or 10-year balloon. And so, although I structure the payment based on a 30-year payment, usually sellers want a balloon. They want a chunk of money at some point in the near future. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So let me tell you what my typical structure is. It doesn't mean that's my offer to you. I'm just answering your question of what you asked me what I typically pay. I'm giving you an answer, not saying that is what you would agree to. I'm just telling you that's what a lot of times we do. Seller says, I want $100,000. And I don't know what you want for your houses. You guys can determine that. I'm not going to come at you with a cash offer, which basically every investor is going to offer 70 cents on the dollar, something along those lines. I really don't care if the offer is 100% of what the house is worth. What I care about is, can I afford the payment and am I justified in making that purchase on terms? So we typically give a little bit of money down, obviously to secure that interest. We create a document called a performance deed, which states that if I do not perform, you get the property back in 31 days and you keep all my down payments and all my payments I made along the way. And then the other thing we do is we structure a balloon that I prefer 10 years, but a lot of my sellers, they want to be somewhere around the 5 to 7 year mark. Just kind of depends on what you're trying to accomplish as a seller.
So how does that, all 5 of the properties are rentals.
Okay.
And we haven't really thought about selling because of the capital gains and all the taxes you have to pay. So how do you avoid paying all that up front if you finance it?
Because you only pay taxes on money you receive, not on money that you put on paper. So even if you sold me, let's say you sold me your car today for $10,000, but I make payments to you towards that car, you only pay taxes based on the $200 income, not the $10,000 income. Because what happens if let's say a year into my payments, I've paid you down $2,000 and I get abducted by aliens and you have to take that truck back. It would be highly unfortunate if you had to pay taxes on that full $10,000 bill of sale. That is not how it works. The way it works is you get charged on your taxes based on what you actually receive in real money. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it's your income per year.
Right.
The money you get.
Right.
So we wouldn't be all that capital gain and the recapture of the.
There you go.
Well, no, wait. No, that was capital gains. What about the
recapture and depreciation?
Yeah, because
I'm not sure your guys' situation, but I'd be happy to have my CPA chat with you about it and maybe give you some advice. The challenge with the tax side of things is that every seller I sell to or buy from has a little bit different tax structure, and I just end up having them talk to my CPA or maybe going back to their CPA and kind of asking that question. But my CPA will do it for free.
Okay, because we handle our own taxes.
Yeah.
We create the houses every year,
Right.
and we've owned them 8 years, 9 years, something like that, or 9 years.
Yeah, so you've got a potential recapture there.
Yeah, which could be significant. So,
Right. Well, that's the challenge, right? Like the challenge that you guys have right now is that you are, no offense, most landlords don't want to be landlords. They ultimately, their end goal is to have true passive income, which is actually being a lender. So you would be upgraded to a lender. The good thing is that you're avoiding the capital gains, and you're avoiding this massive tax bracket hike. But the tax depreciation recapture, that would be something that would be a more individualized question that we'd have to get my CPA on the phone for.
so you guys have property and all that stuff, just like
Yep.
you would to a regular lender.
Yeah, we actually go above and beyond that. So I own a property management company as well. So, managing the properties is not an issue. But the main thing that I do is I also hire a servicing company to handle all the payments, the taxes, the insurance, and then that servicing company sends you a notification every single month. So what would happen is I make the payment to the servicing company, not to you. The servicing company then deposits it directly to wherever you want. It gives you a report on a monthly basis. And then if I'm ever late, they're the ones that impose the late fee to me on your behalf. So you don't ever have to chase me down for a late fee or anything like that. And then if I default, it goes back to that performance deed that I talked about 20 minutes ago, maybe not 20. Wow, I'm talking faster than I normally do. I'm only 9 minutes into the call. So about 7 minutes ago, I referenced a performance deed. The servicing company actually holds that performance deed for a fail term. Let's say, again, I get abducted by aliens and I'm zapped off the planet Earth. What's your guys' recourse? Your recourse is you call the servicing company and say, hey, we don't know abductions or something, but we need to reiterate you're a lender multiple times.
Well, I understand that. You want money, and I've told my wife multiple times over the years, so I do understand that.
My in life to be finance and be your position. You guys.
Mine aren't been there for years, all of them, so.
So this is let me tell you how this typically goes. You can really I'm just the pencil pusher. The way this works typically with our sellers is the sellers come to us and say, hey, we really like this. If you can structure this purchase price basis, we would move forward with you. That's how this conversation starts. How many programs do you have, right? I'm asking you guys, it's not going to be because, maybe even talk to my CPA or whatever you want to do. And then we have another conversation.
Yeah, I have to think about this.
Always. Same thing with us.
Cash up front, and then we're going to have X amount of money with a payment at the end of 7 to 10 years, or 5 to 10 years.
Right.
Based on whatever's decided. Amount. Situation is, each of the homes is worth a couple $100,000 minimum. If you go market value on them, I figure based on current market value.
Okay.
A middle 0.25.
Okay.
And we would, take that money and invest it.
After paying taxes.
Pretty solid returns.
Yeah. Here's the challenge. The challenge with that is this. I deal with sellers. A lot of times my sellers, after we do a balloon payment to them, we wipe them out. They go out and they try and, either do fix and flips or something. I don't want to do that. So they'll be investing with us in certain deals. What I do is I watch how they got, payment. I end up only getting about 55% of the 2.5 on the open market value. Sold it for 1.25. The average process on the house and these home repair requests, all that this real estate, I should say.
To think of is okay. Say that we saying a month for all of them. That's a big increase in our income. It all depends on the monthly payment.
Right.
That is correct. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about when I say you are the lender. You dictate the mortgage program. I obviously I can always say no, go higher, let's try and renegotiate. But I try not to give you my number, because if I give you my number, we were not going to have a phone call. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather it'd be like me calling Chase and saying, "Hey, I'll get me blah 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 blah," and then Chase is like, "Get out of here," right? So I go to Chase respectfully and say, "You're the lender. I want to buy this home. You know, here's my credentials. Here's my ability to pay. Here's my down payment. Here's all that kind of stuff. Let me know what kind of loan you guys are looking to accomplish. We go down one of the avenues that you think would solve your problem." And it's not a problem, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's where I would start with, you know, what's the purchase price we would like? Obviously, understand that if you charge me full retail, you're already ahead of beyond what you would have sold it on the retail market, at least $100,000, because we're not going to take any fees or any of that kind of stuff out. Also, I pay closing costs, so you have no inspection, repairs, you know, hire an inspector, all that kind of garbage. It takes months and months, right? It's already $100,000 more plus the convenience factor. Now you also have the tax benefits. Now you also have the ability to make interest on the high sales price of 1.25, which is pretty cool. So whatever that number is, come up with that number, and then come up with a down payment that you would be comfortable with, and then at the same amount of, and let's look at that. You know, what are you guys making in? What are you guys bringing in right now on the gross for these houses?
How much do we get gross? 5,500.
Okay, so if you're saying, hey, we really like 500, we'd like to be so that. Let's try and make something work. Yeah, you got taxes, you got insurance, home warranty,
Depreciation.
years.
So that generally takes us down to
Probably around
1,800 a month.
yeah.
1,800 a month.
Right. So if you looked at it and said, look, between all 5 of these houses, if we could actually bring in, let's say hypothetically, $2,500 or $3,000 a month, and now you don't have to deal with any of the garbage. In fact, you pay the taxes, you pay the insurance, you pay the repairs, you deal with all that stuff. Done. Let's do it. That's basically how this conversation starts.
That's too much income. Yeah, that's too much. That property,
1,800 is
24,000. That way we get free insurance. Yeah, so we got to be under 24,000 a year.
okay. So that
Because doing taxes, I mean, we ran a, not to brag or anything, but just to tell you her expertise, and she's not a CPA. She's there, made $750,000
Wow.
gross.
wow.
And we ended up, what did you get our net down to? Like 44,000 taxable income.
That's insane.
Well, that's before you write off your whole house.
That's amazing.
Back when you could get away with all sorts of stuff.
I know.
But it was all legal.
Right.
She went through and she read the code. So,
You know, I wish I had that superpower.
She says that she thinks there's going to be a problem with this depreciation. So I guess she's going to have to talk to your CPA.
Listen, I'd love for you to talk to my CPA, and what I'll do is can I text you on this phone number?
No.
Okay. Is there is there an email or something I can have access to so I can email you and my CPA together?
Yeah. Silver G. You want my email? Okay. Allison, ALLISONS @cox.net, COX.net.
Cool.
It's just like our last name with an S on the end.
Perfect.
So we've made our income for 10 years, 5 to 10 years, negative balloon payment. Now we would need to get, well, he gave you the numbers, right?
No,
The first guy we talked to?
to be honest.
Some of them are important. Is on 4 of the houses.
Okay, so that's another transaction. So that transaction wouldn't be called a seller finance. That type of transaction that would actually be called subject to. So what that means is I actually take over the mortgage and then also create a second. So let's talk about one of those houses that has a mortgage and has equity. Let's just get the numbers real quick on what's the mortgage balance plus how much equity do you have on the house?
Well, equity is the difference between the mortgage and
Right.
retail value.
Right.
So, let me get my little sheet here.
Just a rough estimate. Doesn't need to be exact.
All right, rough estimate mortgage is $40,000. Value 270 minimum.
Perfect. Okay, so this is what we call a hybrid. Okay.
That's why we call it high.
Because sometimes I'm even sitting in my personal home right now that I bought subject to, which means the seller had zero equity, literally zero equity. He sold the house, or he bought the house in 2008, and that was the height of the market. If you remember what happened in 2008, right? So,
Yeah, because we bought right after that.
lucky you guys. You guys got set up. So this guy bought this house that I live in right now, me and my family. He bought it for $415,000. And then 12 years later, it's still worth, it was, at 12 years later, it's worth $390, which was about what he still owed on the mortgage. So he was trying to sell the house on the retail market, but because of all the commissions and closing costs and all that kind of stuff, he was going to have to come out of pocket to sell the house through a real estate agent. And he's like, screw that. I'm not willing to do that. So he sold it to me subject to, which means I literally took over his Wells Fargo payment. And then I gave him $10,000 in cash above and beyond the mortgage. And he walked away, and I still make that mortgage payment. So that would be a true clean subject to, which means he's not getting an equity payment. Your situation is you have a lot of equity on the house. So what would happen is I would make the mortgage payment on your $40,000. And then what I would also do is I would make my, let's say you guys were saying $1,800. I would make an $1,800 payment towards your equity. So I would essentially have two different payments. I would have a payment towards all your mortgages, cover all of those, and then I would have a payment towards all of your equity for the next whatever amount of years until we have a balloon. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. And what do you do with all the tenants that are currently there?
We keep them. We just bought a property in Mesa. The seller said, these tenants are great, but I'm just at a point in my life I just don't want to deal with it anymore, and I truly just want to be a lender. I'm over it. They're the nicest people, and I feel like I would abandon them if I just sold the house and kicked them out. And I said, I'll even put in an agreement that states I will keep them in, and I'll give them an option to extend if they truly want to. But I basically, you guys step out, I come in as the new owner, and we treat it as business as usual. Same process, same everything. And then when their lease agreement comes to an end, I give them an option to either stay and try and bump rental price, or maybe they want to refinance one of those houses out and say, hey, I actually want to live here and I want to get a loan, and I'll let I'm going to go refinance you out. And then in that situation, you'll have cash in that situation. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
All the way through the balloon, and I don't.
I've been saying for a couple of years that they want to buy the house, but they just went 4 years ago. So,
yeah, we get a lot of tenants. We use these options where I would subject to mortgage and then a option to a potential buyer, and we just kind of got sick of it.
Like the old Sheets method.
Oh yeah, poor Rip Carlton Sheets. He passed away this year.
I didn't know that.
Amazing guy, especially what he did for the real estate community. He was an amazing guy. I had a chance to meet him 3 times. Real sharp guy. But yeah, it's very Carlton Sheets-esque. The problem you have for tenants on the back end very rarely have the ability to execute their orders or whatever. And what Carlton Sheets taught was like, okay, we'll just give the house back to the original owner if your tenants can't execute. I'm like, that's not the way. I will handle it. At the end of 5 years, I'll either refinance it or I'll sell the property, whatever it may be.
Okay. All right. This is sounding more and more interesting. Let's see. What is your company name?
So I own about 12 companies. My main purchasing entity, and you guys can pull up my, like you can go to Maricopa County Records, you can see that just one of my LLCs has 20 houses in it. I own a little over 400 homes right now between 20 different LLCs. But here's what I do. I typically buy in an entity called American Home Offers, and then I end up actually closing escrow in an entity called PCGS Management. PACE is the first initial, which is my name. So PCGS Management is the name of my company. You guys can pull me up on Maricopa County Records and see that we own property and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, and it was American Home.
Yeah, American Home Offers. I don't think we actually own any properties in American Offers. It's just the entity that. So the businesses that I own, we do fix and flips, we do buy and hold. I own assisted livings. I own some Airbnb. So what I do is I acquire the home in American Home Offers. And then depending on which LLC is ultimately going to own that property long term, I will assign it to the LLC that's going to ultimately hold it. So your contract, if we actually go that far, which, who knows, this might just be a fun exercise. If we go that far, you'll get an email from a lady named Rochelle Jarvis, who's my transaction coordinator, and it will come from a company named American Home Offers.
And your name is Pace?
Yep, Pace.
Last name?
Morby, M-O-R-B-Y. If you pull me up on YouTube, you'd see me. I also educate people on real estate all the time.
Okay.
You'll be able to see me, what I look like, my family. I'm currently traveling the whole country right now in an RV, just visiting all my students nationwide, the people I teach real estate to.
Okay. All right.
You can,
She's looking at the hair typing.
sure.
So, well, we can do some pretty in-depth searches. So.
Yeah, do that.
Not a lot of money here.
Yeah, no problem. And then also I do a live show every Monday, so you guys are always welcome to tune in. If you go to my YouTube, there's a live show we do called Wholesale Hotline. I'm on that show, a couple other shows. So I'm nowhere near Carlton I'm not near his level, but maybe in 10 years I'll be at his level.
Well, I hope you do.
Yeah, me too. I'll keep working my guts out and keep treating people right and doing good by people.
That's what you do, and you'll make it.
Yeah.
Okay. So Cindy and I need to come up with some numbers.
Yeah.
Well, we need to talk to somebody about this depreciation thing.
Yeah, I'll email you my CPA and introduce you guys. And then what I would do is I would go to probably my main website to hear more about me is sub2.com. So we were just talking about the transaction type is called subject to. I own the website sub2.com. So go to sub2.com and you can go to like testimonials of people who've worked with me and all that kind of stuff if your wife wants to do some research.
Okay. All right. Well, we're only going to see all the good stuff if we go to your site.
Oh, well, you can
We'll
look up.
figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Okay. Yeah, so email that to me, and then we'll, this is sounding like it might work, because we will get a balloon payment. Do you like to stretch them out, or?
I mean, honestly, my favorite deals are the 30-year deals because I'm a young guy, right? So I'm in my 30s. For me, I'd love to hold the note as long as humanly possible. But that comes down to the seller and what you ultimately want to do. Most of my sellers are in their 50s, 60s, and 70s because they've accumulated enough wealth that they can actually turn around and become the bank. So in those years, they're like, you know what? I don't want to commit to you to a 30-year deal. So what we typically will do is we'll do a 30-year mortgage with a 10-year balloon with an option to extend if you want to continue to make interest on your money.
Well, we're not going to be making any interest on the money.
Well, depending on how you structure it.
Okay.
So,
You're giving us a lot to think about.
of course, that's my job. So here's the thing is we'll probably end up having 2 or 3 conversations. So whatever questions you guys have, give either me a call back or Tim. Let me give you my relationship with Tim. This is what happens a lot, and this is just full transparency. I'm the guy in town in Arizona and in other areas that I buy. I buy in Orlando, we buy in Texas, we buy in a bunch of other places. I'm the guy in town that when somebody has a deal that they feel like, wow, okay, the seller probably wants closer to retail. The only person that can really solve that problem is Pace. And so I get calls from guys like Tim and they go, hey, I'd love to pass this lead on to you if we can work the deal together and I can just learn what you do. I don't need to make any money. I just want to learn how this process works. So what happens is, to simplify that, people like Tim or other people will introduce me as their partner. I technically am not Tim's partner. I'm just somebody that can solve. I can do things that most people can't do. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Cool. So what do you want me to do on follow up? I'll give you my CPA and then we just touch base in a couple of days or maybe a week.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. I appreciate you.
We're always here.
Here's what I'll do. Will you email me? You just send me an email after you talk to my CPA and just say, hey, we talked to the CPA. Here's what we figured out. Here's our terms. Let's get on a call. And then we'll end up getting on a 30, 40-minute call and see if we can figure something out.
Okay. And your email?
My email is pacejmorby@me.com, but I will be emailing you shortly, so you'll have a copy of that.
Okay, good. All right, good deal.
All right, thank you guys. I always love talking real estate. So even if we don't end up working a deal, this is just fun for me, and I'm sure it's fun for you being real estate investors too.
Well, it's like there's stuff going on in the future.
Oh yeah.
People like to reinvest money.
Yep.
You do it right. So,
I personally wouldn't put my money anywhere else.
yeah, they're not making any more land.
That's right.
All right, well, China is, aren't they? We need a nice house up by Strawberry or Payson.
We can find you one. Here's the advantage I have. I have a big network of people, and if I tell people on Facebook or Instagram and I say, hey guys, I'm looking for a seller carry deal, I could probably even get you into a house up in Strawberry where you guys could just take over somebody's existing mortgage. Then that way you don't have to come up with any money down, and you can just take over the mortgage and have title and deed.
All right, well, that's something we'll have to discuss in the future too.
Cool. Well, let's touch base in a couple of days. I appreciate you guys' time.
Okay, all right. Thanks so much, Dave.
All right, have a good day.
We'll talk to you later.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That was a good call.
Do you see why people pay me to learn?
Oh yeah.
There's nobody. I've traveled the country. There's nobody better than me. And I know it sounds super cocky, but I just know how good I am on the phone. I know how good I am with this stuff. So that's like high level stuff, going through a whole conversation of like all their objections and the way how easy I make it look. When you see somebody else that does creative finance go through that same conversation, that conversation would have gone on for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. So when a seller says, oh, well, you're interested in selling, right? So you have, anyway, whatever. Hope that was helpful. I saw you taking down some notes.
For sure.
Hold on a second. This is Pace. Hello. Stupid. Anyway, so the next play, finance and seller finance, number one.
Is it 347 number?
Hi. I was looking.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Hi, my name's Nick. How are you?
Man, his name.
Sorry.
What are you calling about?
Yes, pretty silver.
Silver card.
Yeah. Excuse me?
Are you buying?
Well, that girl. If I am buying.
Fine by.
Oh, you haven't figured it out yet?
Have I figured it out yet?
You haven't figured it out?
I'm the one that makes the decisions. In terms of what our company purchases, and
Yeah,
so
Bonnie.
Giovanni, and somebody that you talked to about this property. Sure. Hello. Yes, I was calling about the. I think you might have talked to. Okay. What we need to do to make it happen. What price am I thinking about?
Yeah.
Well, I I understand you're asking right around 135, right? Okay. Do you know what this house is actually worth?
You know, okay, Main Street,
Yeah.
I'm not sure
but
what.
according to the outside, 57, that's about the 130.
You're going based off of the income?
Going based off income.
No, I think it's really I think that the price is around now.
Okay.
Okay.
But if you really in the pilot,
Sure. So,
you're in the pilot,
what?
are you in the
No, I'm not.
where are you?
I'm in Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, I thought you were in the pilot. Oh,
Yeah, we purchase homes in the state, so I mainly manage the properties on the east side. So yeah, I mean, I'm trying to figure out what we can do for you here, and you know, look and sell. I think the biggest challenge for me is that you're asking around 130, and I know just kind of going based off of we're closer to 100. So I guess the only thing that I would be able to do for you, whether it's 100 or 130, is offer you terms.
is the one?
Is offer you terms, buy a property on terms.
No.
Yeah, so just really, yeah, I'm going to explain that for you here. So this property, is it paid off, or are you guys still making payments on it? Okay. So what terms would look like is we would essentially finance the property from you, and you would be the lender. We would buy the property. So every single month, you would continue to get a check from us. But here's the best part: you don't manage any tenants, so you don't do anything with the property. You just become the lender on it. How does that sound?
If I get the right price, so it's going to work.
Sure, absolutely. So, I mean, we don't have a team that does that for me, but let's say I could get you up to, I don't know, kind of close enough to the price that you're looking for, but we do it on terms. What do you think you would need to have happen work?
Let me call you back. In the background. Let me call you back.
You're going to call me back?
I'll call you back later. Okay.
You want me to call you at 8 o'clock?
Right, okay. All right, bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Hopefully.
Now see if he's available.
I know
And
state that Californians are moving
moved
to.
to, yeah. Texted Brian an hour ago, and he confirmed that he'd be ready at 9:20 his time. So I'm sure if we call whenever, he should be just about ready.
Hey, it's Brian.
Right.
Yes, sir.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, pretty good. How are you?
Life is pretty dang good.
Right on, man. Well, that's like hit or miss these days.
I know, man. It depends on who you're talking to, right?
Yeah.
So, I was calling on behalf of Caroline about that property you guys have. I don't know that tying Chuck into this conversation would be needed yet. I just kind of had a couple questions.
Okay.
You guys are hoping to list it with an agent, or what's on?
I mean, we were going to list it with an agent, and so I was kind of back and forth with Caroline on it.
Oh, I know.
I mean, that was our plan. We already had it listed with one, but we went to that listing expired, and they weren't really doing much as far as like marketing the property or anything. So
Got it.
we found another realtor. They were supposed to come out and do like drone footage last Friday, but told her to hold off on it just to kind of see what pans out on this deal.
Got it. Okay. I know the pain. I've got a 50 home development going on right now. We've got 9 houses for sale. And the agent that we for that deal is like, yeah, you know, when we hired her, she's like, I'll do open houses every weekend. I'll do this. I'll put signs out. I'll do blah, 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 drone this, drone that. And I'm like, okay, great. There are 9 houses and they don't have one sign in front of the houses.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, typical real estate agents, man. So anyway, my question there is like, what would keep you from with an agent? Is it just getting the price you guys want?
This one.
Yeah, man. I mean, the ease of, being able to sell it to some investors, which I think would be the best target for that type of property anyway. I mean, we had talked about doing all sorts of stuff on it, me and Chuck, but it's just neither one of us have the time or the want to. I don't want to unload it.
Okay, cool. So that unloading it comment leads into my next question.
All right.
So I buy properties two different ways. I buy properties with cash, but as a cash buyer, obviously I want to buy under market value so that I have some upside, right? This is a little bit different because I'm developing the property. I'll be spending a couple of years developing some sort of project on that. But with a cash situation, typically I'm paying under what most sellers are going to want. Now, if you guys have a number in mind, which Caroline says you do, what would get you motivated to potentially giving me terms on the land? Has you talked about terms at all?
Not really. That'd be like an owner finance deal.
Yeah, because the biggest challenge with the development is I can't do anything with the land for probably close to a year because I've to do with like entitlements and surveys and all that kind of stuff. So what happens is, what was your guys' asking price? Like 450, 470 or something?
Our listing price, 25 an acre.
Okay.
A little over 500.
Got it.
21 and a quarter acres.
Cool. So if you listed it with an agent, you guys would pay probably close to $40,000 in commission. So you'd probably sell to an investor somewhere around like 470, 480, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, we had talked to about 25 an acre with basically 8%, 6% for realtor fees that wouldn't be applicable, and then she said something covering closing costs and everything, or the buyer,
Right. Got it.
That'd save another little bit of extra. I mean, that's why we kind of agreed on like a 23,000 per acre cash deal price. Pretty much would be our take home if we sold it at and paid closing costs.
Got it. Okay. So what I've done in the past, and actually the development that I developed, or I'm in the middle of developing, we're only like 12 houses through the 50 houses, but what I did with the seller is he wanted $10,000 a lot, not an acre, and it's not even in the same area. It's actually in Arizona, but he wanted $10,000 a lot. And what I told him is I said, look, that means I got to sink $500,000 in cash into over the course of a 2-year project. What if I paid you a little bit more money per lot, but I paid you after I got the entitlements, the permits, and all that kind of stuff done? Is that something that you and your family would consider? Is if you guys carried it for maybe through the entitlements, I'd pay you more money?
Well, I mean, how long of a process does that take?
That could be good. It could be 6 months to 12 months, depending on the county. And I'm not looking for a yes or a no. I guess I'm just trying to plant a seed in your mind and then maybe talk to your family. Yeah, what I would do is just say, hey, I've got this guy, he's a developer, but because of the long time frame associated with getting permits and entitlements and all that kind of stuff, he would like us to carry the paper until we get the entitlements. He would give us a down payment. So whatever that looks like, I give you a down payment to secure it so you guys have some cash in your pocket. Then you guys carry the paper through the entitlements and the permit process so I don't have to go out either get a loan or cash into something for a year or 6 months or whatever it ends up taking. And then I pay you more money for the project.
I mean, again, that's so, I mean, he's got a lot more experience in this kind of stuff. That's why I don't want to run it by him.
Of course.
They are the, me personally, I own like 6.25 acres of the property.
Right.
Him and his sister own the other, whatever, 15, little over 15. So, I mean, I would really, I wouldn't mind, or I would like if you could call him or include him on the call and run this stuff by him. He's done a lot more of that. He's bought like he's basically bought, and then he bought a lives down. He bought a big like condo complex a long time ago, and had it as rental property, and then he went and replatted it all, sold them off individually, and I mean, he's kind of done a little dabble in real estate investing. Not like his normal deal, but he's a whole lot more savvy on that kind of stuff than I am. So, I'm a mechanic. I'm not a real estate guy, but I just know we've been talking about, selling this property or doing something with it. I mean, we talked about turning it into an RV park, subdividing it, putting a road and basic utilities in there and selling off individual lots. I used to do, before I opened my shop a couple of years ago, I used to do like land clearing and dirt work type stuff. And I worked for a couple investors on a couple different properties in the immediate area. And I just watched these guys they bought 10.5 acres kind of locally here for a couple $100,000. I think it was right around 200,000. They went in and put utilities. They split it up into 7 1.5 acre lots, put water and power on them, and sold them for 95,000 each. Cleared $400,000 on it, and to me, that even would be, in this rural type area. I mean, the market up in Montgomery County, Conroe, Montgomery County. I mean, it's one of the fastest growing in the country, and a small acreage home sites like that, man, are just do not stay on the market for long in this immediate area. I mean, like a mile from the lake, surrounded by the nicest neighborhood that's in the area on Lake Conroe.
Well, do you want me to just jump off with you and jump over and have a conversation with Chuck? My phone doesn't really allow me to do 3-ways, unfortunately.
Yeah, I would just versus me trying to convey it to him. I would just rather you run it by him. He was just kind of concerned with the contract that Carolyn drew up and sent over. They, I don't know, a couple of the things in there, and obviously she's like, Google you to, see who, let us know, I guess, that y'all were the, like a real deal, not
right.
Not somebody wasting my time. I mean, the whole conversation started by she texted me something about a property that I don't even own.
Love it.
It was like a wrong numbered text message that kind of evolved over a week into, potentially selling our property to y'all. So,
cool. All right. Well,
it's kind of a weird situation to begin with, but yeah, I'd much rather you just run all that stuff by Chuck. We all have to come to an agreement on the same, the same terms. We've agreed to sell it all together, equal and, or valuing the property the same per acre. We're just about all on the same page with it. So
awesome.
Whatever Chuck says, if Chuck's cool with it, I'll probably go along with it.
Cool. All right. Well, let me call Chuck and I'll have Chuck relay back to you, but I appreciate your time, brother.
Okay. No worries, man.
Thank you. Have a good day, man.
Thank you.
Bye. Okay. So my phone does allow me to do 3-way, but 3-way is proven not to go with it.
Yeah.
I just got off the phone with Brian. I how to get the 3-way calls to work out. So I just kind of threw some ideas to him. And I just said, hey, Brian, I'll just call Chuck and kind of relay the same information. Cool. So a couple things I wanted to throw out. I am a developer, so I build new homes. I do RV parks. I do all sorts of interesting stuff. In fact, I'm partnering with a guy up in Montana, of all places, to do another RV in the next couple of months. Kalispell, just south of Wash. It's an awesome area. It's like one of those spots you want to retire.
Yeah, all the time except winter.
Exactly. So I look at that and I'm sitting there thinking, man, you know what? If I was owner of the project and I had a whole bunch of stuff going on, I probably would want to sell it myself. Being a developer wasn't my full-time gig. But my question to you and originally was, why don't you partner with somebody like me and let me go build it out? You guys carry the paper for a short term. You guys make some of the back end profit.
I'd be entirely open to that. That's fine. I'm not on fire to sell this property. I'm just trying to simplify my real estate holdings.
We something interesting too, because I mean,
I have actually, I'm sure Brown, I talked to him numerous times up in RV park there, probably more kind of place.
yeah, I mean, for me, I travel, I don't know, 4 or 5 no our area. I think 20 acres is kind of the minimum size project you really want to touch. But my thought is, if you carry the paper, I go to pay for the development, we go do that deal.
Yeah.
You could, when I refi, I could cash you guys out at a higher price, or B, you guys just stay in the deal and we cash together.
Yeah, my I think I'm speaking from sister as well. She knows how Brian feels about it. Not much of it.
Well, I was on the, you know what, the big boss. You got to call the big boss.
He's usually interested. And I'm in my motorhome right now. We travel several months a year.
What do you travel, or you got a fifth?
Oh no, we have let's say.
Oh man, you're like dead serious. I just have, I'm not you guys.
Well, it's kind of and we've really enjoyed it. But yeah, this is unusual for us to be in Texas this time. Like now.
Where are you guys usually?
Typically either the peninsula or around Missoula.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm driving this week, actually.
Actually.
I'm flying back up to Kalispell Friday, so tomorrow morning, and I'm going to be hanging out in Missoula on Wednesday, Thursday, and then going over to Bozeman, down through Yellowstone, and all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Where do you guys stay in Missoula? Do you have a spot, or do you just stay at like an?
Actually, my sister has houses all over. She has one of them. We stay there or stay in. I'm still trying to find a place to put an RV park in this.
Oh yeah. Well, why don't we build one? Why don't we build one this first, and we'll go build one next.
Yeah, man, I'm certainly open to it. I could participate on several different levels in that. So.
Cool. Well, let me do this. So I'm flying to Montana, taking my kids down through Yellowstone and whatnot, and then we're gonna be in Houston. So what I'll probably end up doing is zipping over to the property anywhere nearby.
No, well, we could be. I'm in San Antonio here for a couple of weeks, and then back down to where we have a house.
Got it.
But yeah, I can meet you there with that. But yeah, I think I don't know how you your feasibility study for RV parks. I think it's all good out there.
I'd love to. Got about it. Here's what I want to do. I'm going to do some more research on it. I'm going to touch base. I'm newer to RV parks. I've only done 2, and I plan on doing more manufactured homes. The challenge with those is I sell them retail. I make a windfall of cash, and then what happens is I got to 1031 that into something else.
Yep. I'm familiar with that.
Right. So what I really want is I want long-term cash flow. So that's why I'm kind of trying to get more into RV parks. So I've got a partner who has a great RV park up in Kalispell. And he's probably somebody I would bring in as a partner on the deal. But what I want to do is I'll probably put a couple conversations together, and then maybe we touch base next week and I say, hey, Chuck, here are the 3 ideas I came up with based on the land. Which avenue do you want to explore?
Okay. All right. Sounds good. I have some development experience myself. I was a home builder for many years, and I completely understand it. I ended up with a multifamily project that retained ownership of for about 10 years, so I'm familiar with the pros and cons of rental and selling and whatnot. And RV parks look really good.
Yeah, RV parks are the way to go, brother.
Yeah, man. Yep. But okay, well that sounds good, Pace. I look forward to your call, and yeah, man, I'm be very much into that.
Cool. Well, I appreciate your time, Chuck. Let's touch base sometime next week.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, later, brother. Is that good? Hold on a second. Let me unmute you. If I don't permanently mute people, I end up hearing their burrito order at Filiberto's. So
That was awesome. Yeah. So Brian was my only contact. I haven't even talked to Chuck yet. He just gave me Chuck's phone number 20 minutes ago.
mm,
So I kind of, and I'm new to sub 2, so this
first,
probably attached to this that, and then there's
what city is this in?
San Antonio.
San Antonio.
Yep.
I'm gonna be there in like 4 weeks. In like, how's your day going? Awesome. Hey,
Hello.
hi, is this Julie?
Yes, it is. How are you?
Julie, you're awesome. My name's Pace. How you doing?
Oh, I'm hanging in there, Pace.
I can already tell you're a super awesome person and easy to talk to. You're so sweet already out of the gate. How's your day going?
Not so good. Thank you for asking.
Well,
So,
I'm calling to talk about the conversation you and Nikki have been having about the property.
right.
How's that been going? Where'd you guys leave off?
Just that, I just wanted to see what the options were as far as, going all cash and then, looking into the terms.
Okay.
And I'm really more leaning towards the cash. And like I said, but like I told Nikki, I've had 20 notes before, and it was okay. Some of them were okay, but some of them weren't. And I know that you folks probably don't operate that way, but these were individuals.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Same thing with me. Whenever I hold a note for a note, it turns out to be a nightmare.
well, some of them do and some of them don't. But right now, Pace, let me just tell you what's going on. I've got to get this house, and I have to get this house finished. And we have hardwood floors. And right now I'm in like my husband is ready to say, forget about it. So, so I want to talk to you. Okay. And, I just don't have a lot of time. So if we can,
I'll be 3 minutes or less. Let's do that.
All right. Good. Okay.
So I don't want to buy it cash. I'm the opposite of you, right?
Okay.
Because if I buy it cash, that means I tie up a lot of cash into one property that I could disperse to a lot. And you get it because you've been a note holder. You totally understand that.
Mhm.
So what I would do is I would challenge you and your husband to have a conversation and say, hey, what if we did sell it on terms? What would we want to see in terms of a down payment, obviously security, monthly payment, all that kind of stuff, and what would be the length of terms? If we did like a 30-year note with a 5-year balloon, or a 30-year note with a 10-year balloon, or whatever it is that you guys want, let us know what would get you guys excited to lean the other way, and then we could have a follow-up conversation.
Well, that's just it. I really want to just, because I've been down that road before, and I'm just tired.
Right.
That bottom line, I'm tired of having to, do all that kind of stuff. And I don't think I'll see the end of the money. In other words, the note will continue, and I will not be here. So that's what that's why.
What if we did like a 5-year balloon or something?
I did that one time, and it was okay. But I'm just, and I know where you're coming from, but at the same time, I just, whatever,
What are you guys wanting for a cash?
I haven't really thought about it or anything. I just be so vague about it. Right now, I've got my hands full with this here. I hear you're on vacation. That's wonderful. That's good.
Yeah.
But my husband and I, right now, I've got to get this girl in here.
So let's do this, Julie. Let's set up a call for another time. Here's what I want you to do. You're a no BS kind of person, and I'm a no BS kind of person. So let's have a call in like 3 or 4 days. You and your husband say, hey, here's what we want cash, and here's.
Let me just correct you. I am the owner of the property, okay? And I'm where the buck stops.
Oh God, you mentioned your husband earlier, so I'm just going back and referencing him.
He's kind of like my guardian angel right now. He's doing the hell, but.
Got it. Okay.
But anyway, to make a long story short, I am really, to be honest with you, Kate, even if we could sit down and talk about it, I want to move on to other stuff. I don't want to
have to worry about taxes and this and the economy and Trump and everything, all whatever. Okay, I mean the way the economy's going. I just want the rest of my life to just flow a little bit easier, and I just don't want to. Like I said, it's in good condition, all that good stuff, but I'm leaning more. The only reason I asked, and I'm not real sure, but I did want to just kind of see what your feelings were or whatever. I know he's going to come out and get upset with me for talking so much, but for right now, we can go ahead and I'll think about it. I'll do that. Okay, in 3 or 4 days, let's have another conversation, like you said. I wish I could give you more time, but like you're busy and you want to enjoy your vacation. And right now, I'm at a point where I just need to finish this house and get this girl in tomorrow.
What day can I follow up with you?
Probably I'm going to say what's today? Today I lose track of time.
Why don't you let me follow up with you like Monday or Tuesday of next week?
Okay, that sounds good. Let's shoot for Tuesday. Mondays is kind of like catch up.
Yep.
So let's shoot for Tuesday. And like I said, I don't want to totally 100% eliminate the idea, but in the meantime, after I do my collection and after I'm one of these hands-on type of people, after I do the collection and then talk to you after Monday, I should be fine.
Okay.
Okay.
No problem. We'll chat. We'll chat Tuesday or later.
Oh, okay. All right. No, Tuesday is good. We can make it around noon time or whatever time is good for you, sometime after lunch.
All right.
Is
Perfect.
that okay?
Yeah, that's great.
All right. I wish we could talk more about it, and I have thought about it, and like I said, I just want to see all my options, and of course, Nikki brought that up, and so it wasn't like, yes, I want to do that. I just want to go ahead and, like I said, I've got other things I want to do, and that's really the bottom line. So anyway, okay. Well, I'm glad you called me. Thank you. I hope you're enjoying your vacation. Where you at anyway?
I'm taking the kids through Yellowstone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we were at Yellowstone. That was good.
It's awesome.
I tried to convince my husband that I saw, and believe it or not, that they had some hydraulic thing that made that Old Faithful come out of the ground every 2 hours, and he still doesn't believe it. And I still couldn't. And he's trying to convince me that we landed on the moon, and I'm saying, no, we didn't.
Oh, I love
That's
it.
all baloney-ness. So we have our differences here. So anyway, but
Good.
enjoy your trip. It's really a neat trip.
Thank you. I
So-
appreciate you. Let's talk. We'll talk next week.
Okay, and don't forget to go to that the guy with the horse, the one that has his hand.
Oh yeah.
That one there. Oh, that's even better than Yellowstone. Or that. What is it? It's the one with got all the faces. Are y'all going to that one?
We are. Yeah.
You're going to. You know which one I'm talking about. One with it's got George Washington's face on the.
Yeah. The Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, that one there. That one's okay, but the Indian is better.
Oh, I don't know anything about that one.
Yeah, you got to check that out. There's another one that they started carving. It's a private family that did it and allowed the Indians to get in there and carve it, and it is awesome. It's a horse, and they show it occasionally, but it's a big place, and I think it's better than the Mount Rushmore, to be honest with you.
Oh, that's
You might
awesome.
wanna check that out. Okay, well, have a safe trip, and we'll talk on Tuesday.
Thank
Okay?
you so much. Have a good day. See ya.
Okay, you too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Nikki,
Yes.
are you on mute or no?
No.
So, Over.
I'm actually Leo's.
Hello?
Hi, Kathleen.
Yes.
Hey, Kathleen, this is Tino. I'm actually Leo's underwriter.
Uh-huh.
I believe he said I'd be giving you a call sometime today.
Yes, I'm actually just getting to where I'm supposed to, I told him I had an appointment and I'm just arriving, but, how long do you need?
It might be better. I mean, I don't know how long till your appointment. Like, is it literally right now? Because typically.
I'm pulling into the neighborhood right now.
Okay, yeah, it's going to take me about 10, 15 minutes to really ask you all the questions. I don't want to cut our time short because I really want to, be able to get into this conversation, and I don't want you to feel rushed. So, how long is your appointment?
It's not a set up time. But go ahead, let's just get started and see what we can hash out, and then, if I've got to cut you off, I will, but let's try to get through this.
Okay, cool. So he said he came by the property today, took a look at it, and it was a duplex, correct?
It was built as a duplex, but it was never finished as a. So structurally, it's set up as a duplex, but it's not divided into units.
Okay, so it's single family. Okay. And you guys are looking for about 260 or 240 on cash. Okay, cool. Did Leo? So we buy one of two ways. One is cash, and it's typically. I mean, it sounds like you're in the business as well. When we buy on cash.
Okay.
So I don't know if the cash offer is going to work for you. So my have been explained terms, or potentially would you be open to terms?
He started talking about terms, but I'm not really interested. I need to just get this. I don't want to be tied to it for a long time. I don't want to be. I just want to have it completely done. I've got, like I told him, I have a private loan on it, and then I have a sub on it. So I don't think that would. I don't think that's something that would appeal to me.
Right. Okay. So how much do you owe on? How much do you owe on a total?
I need to go look up the payoff, so I'm not quite sure on that. But what I was looking for was just, what kind of cash offer could y'all make?
Okay. And I mean, we can work up a cash offer. Obviously, the comps in that area are tough because
7 minutes.
You're.
Because it is a unique property.
Yeah, it's super unique.
But I have looked at other homes in that area as far as the size, and you're kind of getting out to Columbia Lakes to find anything comparable.
Yeah.
It's the only one like it in town. So that's kind of where you'd have to go for those comps. And it's also the age. So basically the same type of house, same condition, same age, same size. You'd find those in Columbia Lakes. So somebody, that's where you'd have to go to find the comps, which is not too far out of town. It's, and people in West Columbia, they don't care whether, they're in town or in Columbia Lakes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, yeah, I mean, I'll take a look at the comps and see if we can come up to something. I mean, let me ask you this, though. If I come anywhere below 240, should I even give you a call, or is it going to be a waste of your time?
Give me a call and see what you can do.
Okay.
So, yeah, just be honest about what you can do. I don't want to get into something and you're like, no, we're not,
Yeah.
If you're going to have an offer, let's just make sure it's an offer that you can
Perform on. Yeah.
But yeah, give me a call either way and let me know what you can do.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because honestly, I wasn't aware of the hard money loaner, or not hard money, but private money on it. And obviously, when we do terms, it's hard to take over a private money because even if you got an amazing rate on it, you're probably looking at somewhere between 7 and 8%, right?
Well, what he was saying was that I would just have to do enough of a down payment to pay that one off.
Yeah.
But I don't know if y'all want to do that but either way, I don't want to mess with with the actual and having, because
You don't want
I
anything?
don't think would even, I think they would call that loan.
Potentially, then we'd have to refinance it, and then we'd pay it off. But if it's the logistics that's holding you back on the terms side of things, then I can work some up on terms, because we have a little over 100 rentals. We buy about 70% of them just like this, in terms. So we're pretty familiar with, the due on sale clause and all that kind of stuff. But I'll work up both for you, and then, we'll see which one works best. So I can work up both. How much do you owe on the private loan?
That one's about 65.
65. Okay. And then on the primary note?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
If you had to ballpark it, what do you think?
I really don't know.
Nothing? Okay. All right. Well, do me a huge favor and just sorry, I'm working from home today. So yeah, just do me a favor and look that up for me, and then we'll touch base probably tomorrow or Monday.
Can you not make an offer without knowing that number?
I can make a cash offer, but I don't want to insult you.
Okay. Let's just go ahead and see what you can do on a cash offer.
Okay. All right, cool.
And then see where we can land with that.
Let's do it. Sounds good, Kathleen.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
No, yeah,
He
So the Hello, Mario?
Yeah,
Hey, my name's Nick. How are you?
good.
Good. I work with Michelle. She told me you guys are talking about your property there on 70th.
Okay.
Yeah, so from my understanding, she told me that she talked to you a little bit about kind of what you were wanting to do, and I think she mentioned she might have talked to you about potential option where we can buy your property on terms. Does that sound familiar?
I'm trying to remember Michelle, because there's so many people here.
Yeah, you're probably getting a lot of calls, huh?
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm confused.
Sure. So just kind of run down what we're wanting to do. I know it might be an option for you since you are looking to sell this property. Most of the time with investors, I don't know if you're necessarily talking to a lot of investors, but, typically they'll want to make you a cash offer that's going to be lower than what you really want to get out of the property. And I understand this property is free and clear, right?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So what we're wanting to do is we want to pay you market value for the property. Obviously it's in great shape, so we wouldn't need to put any money into it. So it'd be an as-is purchase, anything that's needed to it. We would obviously cover the closing costs, and essentially we want to turn you into the lender. We want to turn you into the lender and make you payments every single month. Similar as if you were, Wells Fargo. So we put you in a position to where you're a lender and you're just receiving a check from us every single month. Works out great for you because you don't have to, deal with the property. You just get a check every single month. You're getting retail. And for somebody like us, we're always trying to buy rental properties. We don't want to have to go through the process of qualifying for loans. Obviously that takes a lot of time away from the actual business. So I don't know if that's something that you think that might work for you if we're willing to
to do some kind of installment sale.
Well, in other words, Michelle was here and seen them.
What was that?
Michelle was here and seen them.
She's seen the home? No, I'm just going based off of the pictures online. Yeah. Have you had any?
Okay.
Yeah. Have you had? Very nice. So, just curious. I mean, obviously, it looks really nice. It's renovated. Why haven't you listed it with a realtor? And what opted you to choose into listing it for sale by owner?
Well, I had a bad experience with realtors, so I try to kind of shy away from that because they all speak with full tongue.
Yeah.
And they promise you the move until you get the listing, and then it's over.
Yeah.
You know, so they just hope somebody else pops up and buys it.
Sure. Absolutely.
So if you got no good news to say, let's put it on there by myself and see. And I'm looking for a house now myself. If I don't sell it, I would try to rent it.
Yeah. Have you ever had a rental property and do you have experience managing them?
Yes, I have 4 houses on the West Coast.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
And I don't owe any money on any.
Yeah. That's smart. Put all your money back into paying them off as soon as you can.
A lot of the investors, they leverage. I don't believe in leveraging.
Yeah. It's smart. Then it becomes a true asset, huh?
Tell me your offer. I don't know what your offer is. What would you pay for the house?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, I know I have it listed for $299. I think Michelle told me you were wanting closer to maybe 1 or 287. I think was the number. I might be off about that. But just depending on what the comps.
I was willing to take $10,000 less.
Yeah, for a cash offer, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, you and I both know that's the price point is pretty much retail. As an investor, we either need to have a lot of equity or, we need to buy it where it makes sense for us to be able to cash flow for buying it as a rental. So we'd have to, of course, double check the numbers, but I think $299, right around that price range, is pretty close to retail. So if we were to work out a deal, I mean, obviously we'd give you retail for it.
Okay, well, figure it out and let me know.
Yeah. So just a couple of things here. This really helps with me, coming up with my offers and everything.
I'm just a little crushed for time. That's the only reason why I didn't figure it out to give me a call back. I have a 2:30 appointment. I got a 30-minute drive.
Okay. Yeah, just a couple of minutes here. So if we were to structure something where we would pay every single month, what's an ideal timeline in terms of how long we have this installments?
Well, I thought it was a cash offer.
No, a cash offer doesn't work for us because it's already renovated. We make cash offers if it needs work.
What's your normal term for you? In other words, you spread the payments out over how long?
Well, I would say typically about 10 years, minimum. And then we would do a balloon payment, just kind of depending on what our payments look like. That's about 10 years would be ideal for us. Would you need something shorter?
Oh yeah, I would be fine. I'm getting older and I don't want to hold mortgage that long. I was thinking a year, maybe a year to get you rented and things organized.
Sure. Well, here's the thing though. The market's changing, right? If the market goes down, we're going to need to go through another full cycle before this property gets back up in value. If it does go down a lot, right? With everything going on, the elections, the virus, we don't know what's going to happen to the market. So that's why, at minimum, I would say at least 5 years, and then we can work out a balloon payment.
No, I'm up in age, and I don't want to do it that long.
Sure. Well, you have grandkids? Anybody else?
Time.
Okay.
Thank you for your time. I got 4 properties to sell, and I'm trying to sell now. In the next 2 years, everything liquidated into the bank in cash.
Sure.
Maybe just divide it to the children. They got no capital gains or anything like that.
Sure. Okay. Well, let me go back to the drawing board then, see if I can work something out, and I'll be giving you a call back then, okay?
Yeah, please give me a call. Sure.
All right. Take care. Nice talking to you.
If you cash offer, let me know.
All righty. Nice talking to you. Take care.
this is a lead from a wholesaler, a dead lead. He contacted a year ago. It's on a fourplex. And I was going to call for him, but then he mentioned that the guy wants to do a 1031 exchange.
Mm-hmm.
And since I don't know enough about those, it seems like that would kind of maybe even kill a creative deal.
No, it does not kill a creative deal.
Okay, good.
Not necessarily. Obviously, the challenge is depends on what he's going to go out and do. So, better than explain it to you, I might as well explain it.
Hello,
Hey, is this Chris?
it is.
Hey, Chris, did they tell you that some annoying guy was going to call you and talk about your property?
Yeah, somebody from Arizona.
Awesome. Hey, my name's Pace. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm great. So fill me in. What's going on? You guys are, I think they're trying to buy the property. I assume you're asking like close to retail, which is why they probably can't pay that price. Is that what's going on?
That has not been relayed to me. I asked 800. And first person I talked to, or actually the second person I talked to, immediately said, how about 750?
Uh-huh.
And then he started talking about creative financing. And I said, well, if you were going to throw cash on the table in a suitcase, I would take 750. But if we're going to do any kind of owner carry, then I would have to look at the terms. And I have not heard back since then.
Yeah, I think most of those guys are probably wholesalers or maybe fix and flippers that don't hold properties like I do, which is why they got me wrangled in. And so for them to put up a set of terms would be an impossibility, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They're probably on YouTube right now saying how to find terms for creative financing.
You know, I have talked to those people. I own about a dozen properties.
Yeah.
So my phone rings all the time.
Yeah.
People saying, hey, I want to buy your property. And in fact, Jasmine was the first person who called me. And she said, hey, I'd like to interested in buying your property. And I said, which one? And she immediately was at a loss.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not everybody comes back with that.
Yeah. So if it was a creative deal, what would you want to see? And I think also most guys like you and me, you probably are looking to do like a 1031 if you sold this house anyway, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. He didn't put that in the notes, but I just assume that's the situation. With I've got a 1031 agent that will do a 1031 even on a creative finance deal. So if I end up giving you a down payment plus payments or whatever amount of time, those payments going through that 1031 exchange agent would qualify for 1031. So what would you want? What would I maybe this isn't the call to like figure all that out. Maybe we just kind of plant a couple seeds and you think about it for a couple of days. But my thought is, what would be the purchase price? What would you want to see as a down payment? And then what would you want on a monthly payment? Plus, you know, are you going to want a balloon at some sort of time?
A lot of ideas on that. I haven't given any kind of thought to any kind of hold, owner finance whatsoever. I have not given that math any kind of due diligence.
Okay.
So I am not in a position to answer those questions.
Yeah, most people aren't. Even like highly experienced investors just aren't, because it's like, you're busy doing your day. You're getting in and out of your car. You're doing whatever, and here I am bombarding you with a call.
Like I said, I get so
Right.
and mostly people are looking for that disgruntled landlord.
Oh yeah.
In a position to move,
Yep.
and they're willing to let it go with meat still on the bone.
Right.
That's not me.
Right.
This thing is cash flowing. Even with my property manager, I'm getting over $5,000 a month out of it.
On revenue or
on rent. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So it's a cash cow. Let's face it.
Right.
And I was talking to one person. The last gentleman I talked to, I was explaining to him that it's come tax time. It's one Schedule H. It's not 4.
Right.
Which means I can report half or 2/3 of the rental income and not pay taxes on the rest.
You gotta love that.
You gotta love that.
So this thing is, it's I won't say the ace of spades. It's a 4-unit condo building, 2-bed, 1-bath each, about 900 square foot each. It's a B2C neighborhood. Let's be honest. This is not a Class A property.
Right.
If it were a Class A property, it would be 1.1, 1.2 million. But it's not. So my thinking is, if it were just an individual condo in that neighborhood, it would be going for 175 to 200,000, and you would be paying $300 a month in HOA dues.
Right.
Well, you're not paying $300 a month, so that's got to be worth something.
It is. I mean,
multiply that times 4. Let's go to the top end of the range. 200,000 per unit. That's an $800,000 building. There's room for expansion. There's, a lot of possibilities. You could put a garage on it, charge $100 more per month for garage space.
right.
Lots of options. But me, I bought it, 12 years ago when everybody else was selling because they were overfinanced.
Right.
Property values were dropping. The guy I bought it from was going into foreclosure. I got it on a short sale, and I put an offer on it, and I didn't hear anything back for 6 months. And then my agent came back to me and said, "Hey, you still interested in that fourplex?" I'm like, sure, I guess. So, yeah, so I ended up with it.
Love it. That's awesome.
But now it's time to chase other rainbows.
You want to let me know when to follow up with you? You want to take a couple of days and think about what would look good or get you excited about a seller finance deal?
Yeah, give me. Because my agents are going to be out of town. My people aren't going to be working this weekend, so I need to run this on the flagpole and have other eyes look at it and see what's going on.
No problem.
So
I'll actually be taking my kids through Yellowstone until Wednesday. So why don't we just touch base?
Excellent.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah,
It's one of our favorite places.
It's the best.
Yep.
We
How old are your kids?
I've got a 12-year-old boy and a 2-year-old daughter.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a challenge for about 5 years having kids, and so we're back on track, which is good. So we're trying.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. We're trying for the 3rd right now. So very, very lucky. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I've got my son turns 16 tomorrow.
Uh-oh.
So he's ditching school, and we're doing his driver's test.
Wow.
And going to the DMV.
Look at you, man. That's like father of the year type of stuff right there.
And then my daughter's going to be 13 next month.
Man, I think that's the thing I'm the most afraid of. My parents had 8 daughters.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we have 12 kids in our family. I'm number 3. Yeah. So my parents had 8 daughters, and the drama in our household was never ending. And so
Never ending. I've got one daughter, and the drama. It's ridiculous.
Well, I've got 10 more years of bliss until about that time.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have spent a lot of Labor Days in Yellowstone for my son's birthday.
That's awesome. You guys go do RVing, or what do you guys do?
Yeah, I've got a 1-ton truck, and I drag whatever flavor of camper I happen to have of the year.
Nice. Yeah, I'm pulling a 1/2 ton actually right now. I'm pulling an F-150, and I'm pulling my Airstream travel trailer, having a good time with it.
That's a perfect setup.
Yeah, it's decent. I was thinking about going to the 250 just because I'd like to have a diesel, but everything's going okay right now.
Well, I've got news for you. I've got a 2015 F-150 with the EcoBoost.
That's exactly what I have. I have the Platinum EcoBoost.
Yeah, I've got the King Ranch.
Great trucks.
Yeah, great trucks. That thing pulls like nobody's business. The beauty of it is you put it into manual mode, and you can just shift as you need to, and you keep the RPMs right between 1,800 and 2,300, right in that sweet spot. it pulls like a dream.
I haven't been doing that. We just put 7,000 miles on the Airstream. We went through California, Oregon, Washington, and then my RV is parked in Montana right now. I flew home for 2 weeks to Arizona.
Oh, okay.
And now we're flying back up, picking up the RV, and then kind of meandering down through. But I've been driving the F-150 all just in automatic. And I saw it on a YouTube video. Somebody told me to do it in manual, but I just haven't done that yet. You're telling me it helps out a lot, huh?
Well, I'm here in Colorado, so I do a lot of mountain driving. In fact, it's almost all mountain.
Right.
So keeping your RPMs right at that power band is key.
Got it.
Keeping everybody in the vehicle happy. Now, I've also got a 1-ton diesel, so that's usually what I take. But my wife wanted a camper that's a nice truck. So I went with a hybrid camper, but it has an 8x8 toy deck on it.
Oh, wow. Do you guys take like a Razor or something with you? What do you do?
We have quads and dirt bikes, and then when we get there, we just unload everything, and it makes the perfect platform for setting up the grill and the cook stove, and I've got a huge work area.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that works out really well for us.
You are truly living the American dream.
Well, we do feel blessed at times, and I have to keep reminding my kids how lucky they are.
They'll never know.
They'll never realize until they get out on their own. It's like, wow, we had a lot of opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
And I love the fact that I can give my kids these opportunities. I grew up in Wisconsin, and my parents always had a camper and a boat, and generally a lake house. So second properties, toys. I grew up with it, so it's good for the kids to get out and experience.
100%. It's better in video games and all that.
Well, they do enough of that too.
Right. Well, I appreciate your time, brother. Let's touch base sometime next week.
All right, shoot me a text when you're ready to chat again. Maybe by then I'll have some numbers and see what's going on. Oftentimes, the financing of the buyer dictates what they're able to come up with.
Right.
All right. Well, nice chatting with you.
Thank you, sir.
Enjoy your trip.
Appreciate you a lot. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Welcome to the Empire State, home of the World Trade, birthplace of Michael Jordan, home of Biggie Smalls.
This is where Carrie almost